Oh, hi, everybody. My name is Matt Storrs, and welcome to Mattsplaining. On today's episode, I have an expert on who I'm very excited to speak with. Expert, please introduce yourself and tell us what you're an expert in.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brandon Jenkins, and I am an expert at being a homebody.
Absolutely fantastic. When I think of being a homebody, I think of a number of things. And the first thing that comes to mind is having a home body, having, these very wealthy individuals who have a series of bodies that they can transfer into, but you want to have a one particular body that is your own, that you can feel like you can really control. Maybe it's like your original body as opposed to one of the subsequent bodies that you have, developed or grown or signed a contract with somebody to take advantage of. Maybe it's a bargain for exchange. You get it for a period of time, but if you want to have the experience of winning like an Olympic gold medal, contract with somebody that has the willingness to let you take over their body so you can feel that experience. This is demonstrated in certain documentary films, such as Being John Malkovich. And some other ones Get Out as well, where people go into the consciousness and take over these bodies. But very often it's very hard to get back to their original bodies. So then you have maybe, in the case of Being John Malkovich, somebody trapped inside or multiple people sharing an experience at once. But you want to have a central body that you can go to be comfortable in. And that's ultimately what a homebody is. It's finding out what makes you comfortable in your original. I don't want to say skin suit because I think that some people find that kind of derogatory because you're also a skeleton. You're also a circulatory system. You're not just a set of skin, because if that was the case, we could have go into these automatons that they're building out there that you go into the robot, but then you can't take a bath as a robot. I don't care how good the water sealants that they put on these robots are, they're gonna get wet, and then you're gonna have a ruined robot, ruined bathtub, maybe ruined electrical system, when you could just stay or move into a flesh bag, so to speak, and really be comfortable, have the aroma therapy in that bathroom and really enjoy yourself and exfoliate, because that's another thing. Maybe people think of these bodies that they're going into and they think, oh, I'm only going to take care of my primary body. But if you take care of the other bodies too, you exfoliate the skin, you don't just treat them as the opportunity to win the Olympic gold medal, for instance, as our previous example, then you can really have enjoyment exponentially develop throughout these experiences. So you can have the food that you eat, and you could have the nice amenities within your home. Maybe one of your bodies has really sensitive skin, so you can only wear silk. Whereas other ones, maybe they're really big into wool. They really like that texture of wool. Another one really likes cashmere, that sort of thing. And if you stayed in one body and you stayed in one kind of mindset like that, you would never experience those other textures and comfort levels that you might be able to get by jumping from body to body. And I would be remiss, not everybody has access to shifting their consciousness into other life forms. And with that, there are individuals who try to focus on their own individual body as opposed to the other bodies of other folks, because they don't have access to it, which is an unfortunate thing, but an understandable thing given the economy and how things are going with science. With that, it's to make the most of the time that you have with yourself. And I think that's a big thing that people need to be aware of, because if you don't enjoy the time you have when you are alone with yourself, then it's much more likely that you're not going to enjoy time when you're with other people or doing other things. Now, based on what you've heard so far, about how much of that would you say was accurate?
Oh man, that is it was pretty accurate.
Okay,
It,
cool.
I would say it was about as accurate as As a homebody, I would equate that to an enjoyable nap, but not a long one. Maybe like the
Okay.
enjoyable nap. So,
You're not going to get
um,
into REM sleep in
yeah,
that nap. Okay.
and it's like you were woken up about as you were just getting really comfortable, and then you just woke up, and it's now you got to deal with the day.
Totally. Totally. Yeah.
But
So tell me all
yeah,
about it.
but in the sense of being a homebody, it does, I do resonate with the concept of being comfortable wherever you go. So the idea of being able to hop from body to body and then have your quote unquote home body for the endeavors that you want to go through, whether it's winning an Olympic medal or starring in some kind of movie, you really could be that. Any homebody could really be that. My thing is it's going to circle back to being comfortable wherever you go. A prime example of how I do that is I wear a robe pretty much anywhere I go, any occasion. I wore a robe to court. I wore a robe to the hospital. I wore a robe to the bank and anywhere in between because it's about being comfortable wherever I go.
Absolutely. And
And
your robes, do they have pockets?
they do. They actually have
Okay.
that two pockets. It's a fleece robe. It's a robe that I get to design,
Mhm.
and yeah, I get a lot of compliments on it. So I don't understand why people don't wear robes out in public more often. It's totally acceptable, but I don't know why I don't see it more often.
Absolutely. And there's a big push for like capes and the like to come back, but we already have robes. And so robes are already inherently functional and you get a lot of the dynamics that you would get with a jacket and with a cape. But yeah, I share your sentiment. I'm surprised we don't see more robes out in public.
Yeah, and it can be fashionable. It can be a fashion statement. It can be multi-purpose as well. Mine keeps me warm, so I'll wear a hoodie underneath my robe, and that'll be my fashion statement.
Absolutely. And what did you always feel like you were a homebody, or was it something that you realized about yourself as time progressed?
I think it's a little bit of both because when I look back at some of my kid pictures and my baby pictures, of course, a lot of them are in my pajamas, but I'm like, why is that? And I think for as far back as I can remember, I think I've always enjoyed going home, whether it's from football practice, from school, from wherever we were at. For as long as I can remember, I always enjoyed going home and being at home. And the turning point for me was realizing that the comfort zone that I was in, it wasn't always the healthiest, right? We're human and we're not always gonna make the right decisions. And it can be a little detrimental if you don't really pick up on that. The whole saying your comfort zone will kill you. I get that. You don't
Hmm.
want to really stay where you're at in one particular spot, but it's about being comfortable wherever you go. So
Absolutely.
it's really about expanding your comfort zone. So it's okay, now you're comfortable at home, but now you're on not now you are comfortable on that stage or at work or on the field or on the basketball court, wherever you're at, you're going to be comfortable there, just as comfortable as you are at home.
Absolutely. Where has this taken you? And as you've realized this about yourself, has this made you realize new things about like maybe yourself or the world at large?
I think it definitely has opened up a lot of doors and opportunities that I didn't anticipate, all just from staying at home.
Mhm.
And I think I had this idea back in 2017 where I just wanted to get paid for being myself. I went online, I went on Facebook, and I created a Facebook group for other people that like to stay home, and I called it Homebody Friends.
Mhm.
And just seeing the response and how many people resonate with the message, that Facebook group turned into merchandise. People were asking, is there a shirt? Are there stickers? And I didn't have any of that. So that led me to the opportunity to create a logo. And then I needed a place for the merchandise to live. So now I created a Shopify store. So
Mhm.
it's merch turned into fashion, and then fashion turned into this whole lifestyle brand. And it all originated in Arizona, stemming from fashion. I've had two fashion shows in Arizona, and now I'm in New York pursuing the same thing, trying to really expand and really reach a lot more people that would also resonate with homebody friends. And there are a lot of homebodies in New York.
Absolutely. I feel like it probably is one of the maybe it's just because of the large population, but one of the primary places where people have a tendency to be a homebody because things are so expensive outside, but you're spending so much money on your apartment, you want to make that living space as enjoyable and rejuvenating as possible.
Absolutely. And that's a big part of why I do a lot of reorganizing. I don't really have my bed or like my furniture or anything in my room in like the same space for a very long period of time. I don't exactly know. It's not a whole lot, but just throughout the year, I'll just kind of tidy up and move things around. And it really helps me declutter my mind because it's once you live in a cluttered space, like it does the same thing to your mind. So when you declutter and when you clean up, the thought process in your mind should clear up as well.
Absolutely. Now, when you encounter people that maybe are unfamiliar with the concept of being a homebody and stuff like that, do you find that they have some misconceptions or like things that you would like people to be more clear on or areas that could be clarified?
I think so. I've gotten the responses that, oh, being a homebody or just being an introvert, there's like this negative connotation about it. It's, oh, you only like being at home, or maybe they don't like to go out, maybe they're just too boring. And that's not the case at all. That's not true. Being a homebody, it's great. And we love to go out. We actually love to have a good time. It's just that we enjoy being at home more than we like going out. But that's not gonna, prevent us from going out and having a good time. I love traveling personally and going out and seeing the world. Haven't been overseas, but I have a whole bucket list of places that I want to go to.
If somebody was trying to, put themselves in a position where they were trying to focus on themselves a little bit more, trying to get into the homebody lifestyle a little bit more, what would be some recommendations that you would have for them? Is there like a good way to, because I would imagine that it's going to be somewhat different for everybody. Is there certain things that people could do to better ascertain what they would enjoy or what might work for them?
That's a great question because we all, have a place that we call home. It may not look identical for the next person next to them. So it's if you're listening to this and you want to get more into the homebody lifestyle, I would just it's going to sound cliche, but take a look in the mirror and just really have those internal conversations with yourself. What do you really value, and what really makes you comfortable at home? Is it those towels that you get to use every time? It can be really anything. Is it your bed sheets? Is it your pillow? Is it identify what that is? And I would say, I don't know, identify what makes you comfortable at home and then just really just live in it. I don't know how to like really explain. It's just because you got to go home at some point wherever you go anyway. So it's not like even the most outdoorsy people, the people that love to go out and hike and climb and explore, they still got to go home too. Even if they're the people that maybe they live outdoors, maybe they live, where they camp. It's like, all right, cool. Guess what? If you're out there camping, I guarantee you have some sort of tent or you have some sort of sleeping bag or you have something that makes you feel comfortable or at home while you're out there. So
Totally.
that's what I mean. So it's just like identifying what are those things that make you feel comfortable even when you're not at home.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think when you're saying this, I feel like a connection to the idea of routine in some way and an enjoyment or like doing a specific thing, like whether or not it's like when you wake up or when you return home from someplace else, like whether or not it's getting a glass of water or something like that, that recenters you into, oh, I'm home now. And one of the things that I do based on your description that I feel like makes me feel at home is I have, somewhat of a sweet tooth. And
Mm.
so I have these Kinder Hippos, they're hazelnut flavor. Listeners of the show will know that I bring them up far too often. But most mornings, I will wake up and I will eat one of them, bite the nose first one day, bite the back end one day, and just have this little moment of enjoying this candy first thing in the morning. But that sets up a hey, this is going to be a day at home that I get to have and enjoy, if that makes sense. And then everything else that follows is, okay, there is a little bit of self-care. Maybe I take a shower, I use a special soap or something like that. But having that one thing that I know and I can look forward to this is how my day is going to start, it makes me feel a little bit more centered each day.
Yeah, I absolutely love that because I'm also a huge hazelnut fan. Nutella is God was really flexing when he made Nutella or when he gave the idea to somebody to make
Yeah.
Nutella.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
yeah, and self-care is not selfish either.
Right.
Don't be afraid to, and I'm not saying this about you at all, Matt, but
Hmm.
anybody listening, don't be afraid to cancel plans or reschedule things, or if something comes up in your life, or if you're really not feeling that you can give your best effort, just take a personal day, take a
Right.
personal moment, or if you can, do what you can to have that self-care about yourself because it is not selfish at all. You're the most important person that you have to take care of at the end of the day. So just relish in that if you need to.
Absolutely. Brandon, this has been so insightful and helpful to me to better understanding this and to breaking some of my concepts of where technology actually is
Mhm.
and in terms of our ability to transfer into other beings.
Yeah.
But if people wanted to learn more about you or more about this topic, where would you recommend that they go?
Homebodyfriends.com is the website that I have up, and that's going to have all of the items that I've designed, all of the merch, everything from my first designs to my most recent ones that I put out this month. I'm very active on Instagram, just at HomeBodyFriends, all one word. I'm also active on TikTok at HomeBodyFriends, again, all one word. And yeah, I would love to speak with you if you love staying at home just as much as I do.
Absolutely. This has been so fantastic. I can't thank you enough for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me on, Matt. It feels good to be able to have this conversation with you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you.
My name is Matt Storrs, and this has been Mattsplaining.